intoxicated, cruising down the road. Forward integrity. Forward integrity.
What is up, fam? What is up?
What's up?
Welcome to another episode of the Formerly Intoxicated Podcast. My name is Blake Matthews. I have the honor and pleasure of being here with Kristin Kline and Kristen Johnson. So good. So we had the idea to just spend a couple minutes dropping in, just getting settled, and we wanted to include you guys in that process. So we're just going to play a little meditation music as we kind of settle in, do a little reflection exercise. We wanted to invite you to participate in that with us, since reflection and discovery, expression and connection are such an important part of what we do in private and community. So feel free, if you feel compelled, to take a couple minutes to just grab a journal, grab a pen, or just sit and breathe. This track is called the Deep Breathing Intro. It's actually the instrumental that I produced for Eric's most recent meditation. But it's a couple minute track that we're going to use just to drop in to regulate, practice our coping skills. You guys know the deal. So feel free to join us. If you're not going to participate in the meditation, you can skip a couple minutes ahead to this juicy conversation that we're about to have regarding recovery and reentry. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you in just a couple minutes. Wow. Here we are. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's an honor to sit with both of you. I have so much respect for each of your journeys, and I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about you guys as humans. I know you pretty well. So once again, we've got Kristin and Kristen here in the building. Kristin Kline, founder of Convicted Comeback.
Yes.
So much more than that.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Just like who you are and what you do. Let's start today before we kind of go back. Like, what is it that you do, and maybe why is it that you do it?
Okay, the why. Good question. My name is Kristin Kline, and I am the co-founder of Convicted Comeback. I am formerly incarcerated, so my desire and passion is to go back inside and teach others what I've learned.
What have you learned?
Oh, everything. How to adult after incarceration. That's a big one.
So good.
How to love myself.
The
The biggest one.
Beautiful.
That was the hurdle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Everything falls into place after that, right?
Oh.
So I think that's the step that we miss for women, is how to fall back in love with yourself or love yourself in the first place. Something we lose as children, maybe.
What does that look like? Like if that piqued someone's interest or pierced someone's heart to say, man, I really need that, where would that start? That journey for someone, like realizing, I need to learn how to love myself.
Truth.
Okay.
We have to peel back that onion to the deepest layer. It's ugly and it hurts. And then we have to start healing. You know, making amends, forgiving. And it starts probably long before we even think it does. And then going from there, every step, you know, you think, I heard this once in therapy. How long did it take for this trauma, you know, to accumulate?
Yeah.
It's like quadruple that to clean it up. So, you know, a lot of us, it's decades. So we've got a lot of work ahead.
Yeah, that's the reality. I love that you mentioned going deeper and seeing what's beneath the surface. And in order to do that, we have to feel safe enough to explore that, which can sometimes be the benefit of having a good coach, right? Like I love the fact that that's part of what you do, and I'm excited to hear a little bit more about it. It started for me, my healing journey on that learning to love myself was a brother who met me in that place, and someone who was walking the walk, who held that space, who listened to me, you know, and just didn't push, there's a time and place to push, but like he more so just sat with me and loved me before I really knew how to love myself. Yes. So that's such a good answer. You go deep quick, girl. Yes.
I like to cut to the chase. We wasted so much time before, you know?
Right. So good. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to hear more.
Thank you for having me.
And you, young lady.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Kristen Johnson, founder of The Light, formerly intoxicated, formerly incarcerated, living proof that change is possible.
Amen.
Reentry coordinator for Graham County. So can you share a little bit about what you have going on for anybody who doesn't know who you are?
Well, yeah, I am the reentry coordinator for Graham and Greenlee County. And one thing I do have going on currently is, so I started The Light when I left prison, and it comes from a quote by Viktor Frankl: "What is to give light must endure burning." They said that at my sentencing. My brother did. He said, my sister deserves to be in prison, but she's done a lot of burning and she still has a lot of light to give other people. So I'm sitting there for 5 years. They bring me back and I'm facing 7. So my brother's saying like, yeah, keep her for 7, but keep her for 5, but she has a lot of light to give other people. And that always stuck with me. So, you know, I just get really active in recovery. I'm there all through COVID. We're doing our own AA and stuff like that. And before I left, I said, I want to start this newsletter and send it to you girls. And so I did. And when I started it, my brother said, what do you want to name it? And I was like, The Light. So then, you know, fast forward, The Light takes off. You know, you write the 3rd page. You have since episode 3. You know, that's how we met. That's so I love the story of how we met. But so that happens, and then I start being the reentry coordinator, volunteering, and then we get a building donated, and then I'm cutting the ribbon, and it's the Sunrise program because my life is all about light now, you know. And so pretty soon, fast forward, I want to do this proposal for DLC. Then I'm taking in a program called the Light program that takes holistic approach to reentry and recovery into men at Fort Grant. And one of the coolest things that's happened to me is one of the gentlemen in my program that was there for 6 months, he left, he went home. And so I didn't see him the last time I was there. And you know, when people leave, they leave, and sometimes you lose track of them. And I saw him walking today, and I said, Jonathan, and he came over and he just hugged me forever. And he said, I thought I would never see you again. So that's why the importance of us, like what we spoke about, the importance of, you know, maintaining that relationship, maybe not with us, but like maintaining that, like having an aftercare with my program is something I'm really concerned, like I really want to explore, because just him seeing me today, for both of us, it was like soul food. I had a guy in my program at Fort Grant. I spoke at Phoenix West the other day. I saw him, and it's just like, it's such a light for both of us, you know? It's these connections you make, and literally you leave prison or you leave a program as a facilitator. You think you don't even think if you're going to see these people again. But recently, in the last week, I've seen both of them, two of them, and like our journey's not over. My journey's not over with them. So, you know?
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you for sharing. I want to touch on that because there's a couple guys in particular that come to mind. Working in the recovery and reentry space, like you said, we have the blessing of coming in contact with so many people who are either walking through that dark night of the soul, that are rediscovering who they are or who they were born to be prior to the traumatic things that they went through that kind of shaped their path, right? That's a vulnerable place to be. And when we as coaches and peer supports, you know, are meeting them in those places, we form connections, human connections. It's not just healthcare. It's not just prison reentry programming, right? Like, sure, the framework for it exists in that world and in that industry. But what we were talking about earlier is like, I love that you mentioned the word aftercare. That's a stage in the treatment or reentry or you know, release process that I think a lot of formerly incarcerated or formerly intoxicated humans underestimate the importance of. I was one of them. I didn't have a plan when I was getting out of my program. My plan was to go back to work. Like that was it. And I did for a while. And then I relapsed because I wasn't plugged into community. I hadn't learned that language and that skill of really putting myself out there and sharing about my story. I kind of just wanted to leave the past behind me.
For sure.
Which I get that.
It's valid.
But at the same time, it's your story is a window into deeper levels of connection with the people that you're called to serve and you're called to love and vice versa. Like, don't rob someone of that opportunity to love and serve you by just pretending like you never been through it. Yeah. Like you're just trying to get on with your life. To each their own. Everybody's on their own journey. But I just feel like that's such an important thing we need to emphasize for our guys that are just coming out of prison or girls, wherever you are in your recovery journey. Please plug into community and support network. There's like a place on my discharge planning form that I use when guys are getting ready to transition out. And half the time when we're talking about support network, they're like, my girlfriend. Or like my mom. And I'm like, dude, that is so awesome that you have that person. But what else? Like where are we going to plug into? So thank you for giving context around that. And please plug into a support network. And if you don't even know how to do that, start with Google. Like, how do I develop a support network? Like start there. And on the vein of story and sharing and opening up and giving people a chance to connect. A lot of people that are maybe watching this right now have no idea what either of you have been through yet. So to whatever degree you're comfortable, will you share, Kristen, a little bit about, like, what is your story? Where do you come from? You said West Side.
Yes.
You know, what is your story? I know that's take that in whatever direction you want.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's go on that journey.
Let's.
First thing that I feel shaped me was being adopted. So I was adopted. It's the only thing I've ever known, but it made me feel different, misplaced, black sheep. That was like the cloud I wore, and I wore it proudly. And then my biggest battle would be sexual traumas as a child, and that also shaped me. And the good things I had going for me would be I had invested parents, and they invested in my education. They were both public school teachers, counselors, but they sent me to private school. So they invested in my education. They were Baptist, so I was heavily raised in the Word, and that was my life. But something in here wasn't okay. And the sexual trauma was never addressed. So fast forward, I'm 18, I leave, should have gone to college, had the ability to play ball, and chose to chase a different path and find myself in the adult industry. And with that came sex, money, and power. And that's just a concoction for disaster. So travel down that treacherous road and barely make it out. I try marriage for a while, 12 years almost, and that was abusive, behind closed doors, white picket fence otherwise. And I got 2 beautiful girls, which I'm raising. They're teenagers, high school, out of it. But I lost myself over and over and over again because no amount of therapy, church, rehab, county, fixed what was wrong. Because what was wrong was deeper than all that. I needed more than a program. I needed severe healing, and no one was delivering that. So I had small bouts of sobriety. It was usually when I was pregnant and nursing. Other than that, I was drowning out anything I possibly could because, again, what the problem was a lack of self-love stemming from sexual trauma early on in my years that was never addressed. And I had tried to mask it. And I finally was with the wrong people, making the wrong choices, doing the wrong things, which were drugs, and went to prison. And it was a shock to everybody because my children were going to private school at the time, and my husband's working, iron work, and everything seems fine, but it wasn't. It was falling apart. And so that was my story. And I go to prison, 3 years, just another 3 years, because I got good time. And I found myself in prison. That wasn't the intention. And so that's why I'm like, all right, if I can change, and people say it's cliche, right? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I believed it too. But then I got to this point and I was like, wait, that's a lie. It's all a lie. And then you add fitness in it, which is my twist. And then I realized they're all muscles. You can train them. Retrain your mind, retrain, your emotional coping skills and how we handle things. And then with that, it's like a whole life reset. And you can teach an old dog new tricks. And there is life at the end of that tunnel. So now I teach it. There's my story. Big old nutshell.
Wow. Powerful. Thank you for your courage and your willingness to be honest, be vulnerable. I like to say that when we slow down long enough to reflect, which can happen privately in our own prayer time or meditation time, or it can happen in community, right? Like this is a form of reflection. Even on the other side of this screen, like, we see parts of ourselves in each other. And usually the result of that, of our willingness to participate in that process, are deeper levels of connection, more clarity, right? Healing. The healing happens in that space when we're willing to be seen. So I appreciate that. And I see parts of myself in you. I too was adopted at birth, split from my sister. I never knew her name, but I knew I missed her. But I was gifted 2 other sisters, one from the womb of Sharon and David and the other from the 6 in Canada. Anyway, I could keep going, but yeah, I didn't know that about you. So thank you for sharing that. And so powerful that you said the reality was like a program couldn't fix you. A person couldn't fix you. Like it was so much deeper than that. And that's the reality of trauma and that dark place that we find deeper parts of our soul and our minds when we've encountered that type of a thing. So you found yourself in prison, you mentioned. You rediscovered or reconnected with that part of yourself. Was it a moment? Was it a process? What did it look like coming to love yourself again and beginning that healing journey?
It was a process. It started with a person, and it was a person believing in me that shouldn't have believed in me, I think. I say that, but I was on the Media Max unit. I had no intention of changing. I was working as an assistant clerk, and I had a counselor officer who called me out and basically said, "You're not a gangster. Like you don't belong here. You're trying too hard, and you're going to reclass." And you know what I find funny is in that world, on that unit, in that Medium Max unit, you have this stigma around being a tough girl in Medium Max, and everything else is lesser than, and you don't want lesser than. And so you avoid reclassing for fear of living in a bay setting. And so you try to tick it up. Well, this officer wouldn't write those tickets, so I reclassed. And I fought against it. And when I got there, I was like, wait a second, this is great. This is nice, you know? And the aura in the entire area with the women is different. And there's a little bit of hope. And so I realized in that moment it took one person to instill that seed. And that's all it takes. And then I contribute everything else to my wife, the co-founder of Convicted Comeback, because she was my friend, and we worked together, we trained together, we hung out together, and you build bonds with these people that you're living with and around day in and day out. You know, they're like your siblings that you never knew you had. And she called me on my BS again, hardcore that time, because she said, "Why do you do that?" And I was like, whoa, no one's ever done that.
Wow.
And then I realized the importance in that. Like a true friend that loves you is going to say, "Hey, stop doing that." Instead of, "Hey, I'll be here for you." I mean, you need that too.
Carry on.
But yeah.
Carry on with that.
Yeah, like, help me, you know? And so I fell in love with her at that moment, because to me, I was like, I need whatever that is, that challenge. And that changed me. And then it just kept going. And then once you feel the rewards of being good, you kind of want that to keep coming. That pat on the back. I like that. You know?
Wow. Oh, so good. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, the accountability. It's kind of like the two different sides of love, you know? Like there's, in my experience, there's that nurturing kind of soft, like surround you and support you and meet you where you are kind of love. And then there's that love that says what needs to be said because no one else has said it. And it's some of us didn't grow up with both kinds or either kind.
Right, that's true.
And so for me, I also grew up with good parents, like adopted into a nice home, felt those same types of things, like as an adopted child, like the black sheep, like even though from the outside looking in, I had anything I could have needed to be successful. Those opportunities were provided to me. There was food on the table. Like I was so blessed to have that, but something in me just felt unsatisfied. And like, I just needed, I never quite felt like I belonged. So I had to seek it out, and I found it in drugs, in providing for the needs of other people, swiping the credit card, like, you know, racking up so much debt. So it's a miracle that I never went to prison. Like, which is, seriously, like the guys that I work with, I was just talking to my dad the other day about this. Like, I am floored to see some of the charges that some of the brothers that I'm working with have just spent anywhere from a couple years down to like 10 years for things that I was like totally wrapped up in. just that have to do with narcotics and having like X amount of narcotics or intent to sell, you know, whatever. Like I was spared, and I thank God because each of our paths are unique. But I'm glad to hear. It's not uncommon that I hear that prison or rehab or whatever that looks like for someone was the place where someone met them where they were at and loved them, and that healing journey began. So thank you for sharing part of yours. Yeah, of course. What about you?
You know my story.
I know I do.
I'm just kidding. But I was raised in a really good family, very religious, very much. We went to church, you know, 3 brothers, 2 sisters, amazing parents. My parents are still amazing. My parents are still married, you know, and I can't really pinpoint back to any childhood trauma, but there has to be some trauma. Like trauma's relative, right? Like if the worst thing that ever happens to you. But death has been death has been something that has affected me my whole life. You know, like my best friend when I was in 6th grade got killed in a car wreck. And then the next year, one of my friends died. And then just it was crazy to me. And even my mom would say like, man, you've experienced a lot of death for somebody so young. And it even continued on to when, you know, I didn't really party in high school. I always made straight A's, like played basketball, played softball, I played violin, I played piano, I played the guitar, I sing, I've been in a band, you know, like I say this, like, God gave me so much talent that I'm not going to say that I wasted it, but it's almost unfair the things that he's allowed me to do that I didn't do. Do you know what I mean? And I always like I was good at basketball, I was good at volleyball, and nothing in life like ever seemed really hard for me. And that sounds ridiculous, but it didn't, you know? And so I'm just rolling through life, just Kristening myself through, you know, just being me. And I didn't really party in high school, but when I got out, I got a little bit wild. But then I got with my kid's dad, and I know nothing about meth. You know what I mean? I don't know about it. So I drink and stuff. So, you know, I'm madly in love with him. And then we get together, and I'm rolling over in the night and looking at him, and I'm like, dude, why do you never sleep? Because I know nothing about meth. You know.
And you're how old at this point?
I am 20.
Okay, so just out of high school, kind of starting to discover this.
Yes, I'm 21 because I met him at the bar, and I'm like, oh, that guy's really cute. Because all of a sudden, I'm just going to the bar. It's girls' night, you know what I mean? This is fun. I'm drinking. I'm LDS. I'm a Mormon. Like, obviously, that was highly frowned upon, so definitely I'm gonna do that. So, and I meet him, and I just was really in love with him, and I was, and I finally figured out, because I am intelligent, but I know nothing about drugs, you know, what's going on with him. And we're going to California, and finally I'm just like, whatever you're doing, I'm going to do it with you. You know what I mean? And it just starts down this road of my drug addiction. And then I get pregnant with my first child. And like she said, that's done. Like that life is done. We're done, you know? And so we were done for a while, and then we started using again. I get pregnant with my next daughter, and now I'm really done. So he eventually picks back up, and we're living in Flagstaff, and he just gets really, really like meth-induced psychosis. He's in and out of jail and stuff. And this is real, like people that know him. So he was in jail. I'd already sent Shelby down to live with my parents because he was really, things were not going well. So he bonds out of jail, and he's just like staying up all night. He's basically holding me and Presley hostage. And this is real, a lot of people know this story. Took the doors off, just totally imagining things. So I was just like, I gotta get out of here with this baby. So I do. I end up taking off, going to my parents. Well, the cops call me like 3 days later and say, Miss Bland, your vehicle was found based in Superstition Mountains. There's nobody in it. And I already knew the night before that. I walked outside, and I'm like, David's dead. Like, he's gone. I knew it. And so I'm down at my parents', and this is on a Thursday, and then they find the vehicle. He never comes around. 2 months go by. 3 months go by. 6 months go by. A year go by. 18 months goes by. I walk into my dad's house, and he said, come here and read this article in the paper, Valiant State in the Arizona Republic. And it said, skull of approximately 29-year-old man found at the base of Superstition Mountains. And I knew it was him. And I have these 2 little girls, you know. This time I'm just waiting. He's just missing. And so I did pretty good throughout that time. So I called the DPS, and I said, this is David. I know this is David. So they come back to my work about 3 weeks later, and they're like, Kristen, it is him. You know, it's him. And so I can almost tell you I made a conscious decision that day to use that as an excuse to just go off the rails. And I did. And so I did that, and I got arrested, went to jail. I'd have links to sobriety. Since then, my life has been about incarceration and addiction, jail, incarceration. Even when I met Terry, which is a crazy story, I was in handcuffs at the county jail. He saw me and he's like, I'm going to marry that girl someday. And here we are. But even when I met Terry, it took a long time. And when I always say I was sober for 14 years, but I was actually abusing pain pills, but they were legal. So yeah, my whole adult life has been like about incarceration, mental health, and being in jail and addiction. And in my 40s, I turned into this raging alcoholic, burned my whole life down, left my job, left my family, I left in 2015. By 2017, I was in prison. You know, I was just out pillaging the villages, you know what I mean? Statewide Arizona world tour to break. You guys, since I was 26 years old, I've committed 19 felonies. Well, allegedly. So I just have been down through it, you know, and dragged a lot of people through it with me. All my trauma, I would say my trauma's been self-inflicted, even with like David, because I picked these people, you know, so. And then I go to prison, and when I was in rehab, I went to rehab right before prison. I really had lost my relationship with God, and because I was raised in a very religious home, you know, and I believe, but I didn't anymore. Like, I didn't even know who I was praying to, and I wanted to leave rehab. But I finally started to get it, and it took about a year for all the alcohol to leave my system. Prison saved my life, and people are like, that sounds so, it did. It saved my life, brought me back to the church, you know, brought me back to my church. I would go to any Christian service I could. Well, I'd go to the Catholic church. I'd go to wherever they would play music, and then COVID happened, and we missed that, so... Yeah, prison really shifted my life. People ask me all the time, though, would you do your life the same again because it turned you into the person you were? Absolutely not. I would not do those things and hurt people. I think I would come about I'm a good person, you know, I would have, but people ask me that. Absolutely not. I would not go through that again.
You know, that's a really interesting point you bring up. A lot of times people will say, I wouldn't change a thing about it, because it led me to where I am. Yeah. You hear it like, I don't regret anything. Like, I trust that it was all a part of the process, right? But it's rare that I hear someone say, you know what, if I could do it again, I would do it differently.
I would do it absolutely differently. And people are like, then you wouldn't have your kids. Well, we're speaking hypothetically anyways, you know. I'd still have my kids, because this is my story. I'd still have my 2 kids, you know, this is my story. But I just caused so much pain to my family and so much pain to myself. I was like miserable and scared, and I just don't even know how to, well, you guys know, because you're like, I was living in the darkest of times, like scared, and I don't think people understand the depth of turmoil we go through sometimes. I was so sick. People just don't really know. Like, my alcoholism was not the least of the problems, but man, I can't believe I made it. And just, I looking from the outside now, I can't imagine how hard that was on my family and my children.
Well, you've had a change of heart.
Yeah.
Which is a miracle. That's a testament to the fact that redemption is real. For sure. And second chances are not just a slug line or a slogan. Nope. Like, this is real life. And I appreciate you testifying to it, and to sharing and to sharing the remorse regarding the impact that you caused on the people that loved you, you know. Call a spade a spade. Like, that was a part of my amends process, saying, hey, I'm not excusing any of this behavior. I acknowledge that these were the ways that I showed up, and this is the way that I affected you, you know. Right. And some people were willing to receive, for sure, my apology and my amends, and some weren't. And there are some that I was advised not to reach out to, you know. But I think the best thing that we can do, which is one of the things I love about just being able to be a witness to how awesome the work that both of you are doing, is just to live our recovery out loud and to share with the people who have yet to come to the light. Like, hey, you don't have to stay stuck. Right. That place of shame and guilt and fear and addiction and depression and trauma is super heavy. And while it is partially physical, the compulsion towards the drugs, the addiction, the biological chemistry.
Yeah,
It's also mental.
absolutely.
And those chains go deep
Absolutely.
because you can't see them.
Right.
But then beneath that, there's the spiritual component. You know, like we are multidimensional beings. And the healing journey for me was, it started with a spiritual encounter. I appreciate, and love is spiritual.
Right.
Love is so deep and encompassing. It is so much deeper than our human capacity to love. Love is not what we think it is.
No.
It has been so distorted by social standards and entertainment and media. Love is patient. Love is unconditional. Love meets you in the street because you're the black sheep that he left the 99
That's right.
to go after me. Like he
Yeah.
was so patient with me. And the fact that you came back to the church and discovering, you know, your own connection to that source of love while you were incarcerated is amazing. So if someone hasn't found that, let's say they've served their time in DOC, they've transitioned out, and they feel empty or broken or depressed or disconnected. They didn't have the blessing of encountering someone who loved them through it, or coming to the church and feeling the power of the music. Like, how do we meet them? Like, what can we do? What would you say to someone who's in that place right now that hasn't yet found the community, hasn't yet found it? Like,
I was deep in thought.
yeah.
I mean, because
what do we
I
have to
think
say to
now,
them?
like, now I love the community and I love the feeling I have. And it's hard for me to think back before I had all this, which wasn't that long ago. And it's what you said. It's sad. I remember sad moments. And I just had one the other day, not a sad moment, but a memory of a sad moment. Like the times you're in the shower and you're just like clinging to life and you're asking yourself why. And I remember those moments daily. And now they're so far in the past. So to know that people that I'm surrounded by feel that all the time, it just breaks my heart. And so the only thing I know to do, literally, because I'm new to the scene and I don't have all the answers, but all I know is to be myself 100% of the time. I don't switch it up. And what you see is what you get. And I will share anything with you. I will bear it all, because, I mean, you can type it in a little bit and you can find out whatever you want almost, you know. And I have a dirty past, but it doesn't matter, because the thing is of all the people that we surround ourselves with, all the people on our team and the people that we connect with, somebody somewhere is going to relate to you. And so that's where this community tribe effect is coming into play, because there's a place for everybody. And what I want people to understand is, if you don't yet have that connection, all it takes is a, hey, hi, how are you? You know, I need you. I need something. And we'll find a place. You know, there's a place for everybody. And it's really sad that there's been such a stigma around like the cool club gang or something, you know, like I just remember being in a place where maybe I wasn't so kind because I was very selfish, and everything I did was out of selfish desire. And so my big goal is now, I heard this from Gary Vee, so I can't technically steal it, but you know, he said that something he wanted on his gravestone was that all he wants is to give back more than he took. And I felt like that really applied to my life, because I spent decades of taking. And so now I just want to give back. And my biggest give back is authentic kindness. And it's that whole, the smile is contagious, and it works. Because when I started hugging everybody, and when I started saying, hey, you, I love you, and I smile at them, it's that one little trigger, and maybe that makes their day better, and maybe that makes their life better. So,
Wow.
Those little nuggets.
I love it. So good. Wow. So, a smile, kindness, compassion, selflessness, service, right? I relate to that for a long time. I was super driven by self. What can I get? How can I take, right? So that's good to hear that the tables have turned, I think, for all three of us. And in practice, as far as like where to access that smile, if you don't have anyone in your life that is smiling at you, we're inviting you to come hang out with us. That's right. Word on the street is you're leading a few community events outside of the walls. So you're doing some programming behind the walls in Perryville and a couple of the other prisons here in Arizona, but you're also leading some community meetups and stuff like that outside. What can you tell us what's coming up, at least at the time of this episode? And,
thanks for letting me share that. I'm so excited because we love our programs inside the prison. Obviously, our heart is with those that are still incarcerated, but we realize the importance of the outside community, and it's constantly requested of us. And so we did a community hike. We decided to choose second Sundays of every month. So we've got the next one, second Sunday of February. But then we decided, for those that aren't into the whole hiking thing, we're going to do a community event February 15th. So it's at Ability 360 from 1 to 4 p.m. and we're going to be there. And I have no idea what we're going to get, but how could you go wrong when the community's together? And we've found great people. Yeah.
It's going to blow up. I mean, it's going to be crazy. I already have so many vendors, and it's just going to be fun. And that's why I want to invite you guys also.
Yes.
It's going to be something cool like what we do, like what you do, like when I just envision it. It's going to be awesome.
I mean, you can't go wrong when a bunch of good people get together. But here's the real reason I wanted to do it, besides community. So I was asked to work on a documentary series, and aside from filming that, I wanted to also accumulate for ourselves. And we are working on something for Fitness Fest. Fitness Fest is an exercise fitness community, an expo that goes on, and they were introduced to incarceration and our programs through me, and I used to be a volunteer there. And so now they want to take this whole giving fitness to other populations as a healing source to the fitness community. They've never seen anything like this. So we're literally bringing the idea of prison programs to a community that has no idea what incarceration's like. We say that, but yet there's always that person that has that family member.
Everybody has someone.
And who knew, you know? And so it's always closer to home than you think. But we have filming opportunities for that. And so I decided, instead of trying to set it up with everybody, I'll have everybody come to me. So we have our camera guy showing up at Ability 360 on the 15th, and everybody has a chance to sit in front of the camera and share what their interaction with Convicted Comeback or any of us has been and how it has affected them, so that we can put it in our docuseries.
So cool. So what are we calling the event?
Do we have
a name for it?
We don't have a name yet.
It is Convicted Comeback.
Community event.
Yes.
So shout out Convicted Comeback. So cool. Mindset, growth, freedom, and so much more. I love it. Can you tell us a little bit about Convicted Comeback? Like, what is it? It was birthed from inside of the walls, right? In prison.
Originally,
so
yes.
Tell us a little bit about Convicted Comeback.
I worked out on the yard. Women's prison is different than the men's prison as far as fitness and working out. It's not as prevalent. And a lot of people had asked if they could work out with me, and that just really wasn't something I had a desire to do, although athleticism was always in my past. And when I was a few months to the gate, I decided I would run a boot camp and coach all of the women at once. And it went surprisingly well. I ran a couple of boot camps, and we had a couple of classes. They ended up graduating. We gave them certificates, and then I left it in the past. It was a tail end of COVID. I go back to college, and there's this itch, because I'm studying business at the time. I think I want nothing to do with prison. I threw my boxes away. I figured I wanted nothing to do with any of those people ever again. And then something said, no, you are. And so I go through exercise science thinking I'm going to coach. but it is not coaching people out here. It was coaching inside. And so I realized there was this moment that I was given an assignment, and I was blessed enough to have Megan to use her prison skill trades and make the money so that I could build the nonprofit. And then Convicted Comeback came out of that, which was developed to take fitness, but also mindset. Because it was more than just fitness. It's more than just going out there and doing a couple squats and push-ups that changed us. It was learning, showing up, accountability, really instilling discipline, because none of us had discipline, otherwise we wouldn't be there. And I wanted people to understand that it needed to be because you wanted it on your accord, not because the officers in charge of you were telling you what to do and when to do it. But when you hit those gates, you wanted to do it because you wanted it. And so that's what we go back and coach. And then who knows why everybody else wanted to come on board, because we could not get away from prison. And I guess I wasn't the only one that felt like that.
That is so cool. I love how in your own understanding, you were like, cool, I'm going to go study business. I'm going to go build a life beyond this. I'm leaving this behind. But the wake-up call was like, hold on a minute. These are my people. You know, like my trauma and pain and the types of things that I tried to shut the door on actually ended up being the tunnel and the portal into deeper levels of purpose. The people that I'm most called to minister to. I believe that we can speak life into anyone because love is universal, and I believe that we're vessels here to bless and love and serve other people. But you are uniquely qualified, every single one of us, in some degree or call, because of what it is that you've been through. And that's what lived experience is all about. Like that's the power of lived experience and peer support. And I think so often in early recovery or reentry, the trend is like, I just want to shut the door on my past and just kind of move on. And I get that. But at the same time, I think the acceptance of those things and a willingness to serve, not to say every single person is called to start a nonprofit or to be a reentry coordinator, right? To your point, be yourself, right? Be on a journey of discovering what are my gifts? What is my call, right? But there's a chance that you might find it in the process of serving and reaching those people who are still going through the things that you've overcome. So cool. Really, really excited to see what happens at 360. What is it?
Yes, Ability 360.
Ability 360, February 15th. If you're in Arizona, come hang out with us. Apparently, I'm totally booking my calendar for that day. I will be there. Let's talk a little bit about some of the programs that you have going on. I feel like you do so much.
I do, but I have one thing that is my heart.
Tell me.
And it's called the Sunrise Program.
Oh, so good.
I mean, the light too, but you know, I was afforded this opportunity when I'd only been out of prison about 9 months. This opportunity came where the judge and the justice system, so they approached Kathy, my boss, and said, we want to do this reentry program for people. It's not really reentry, but it's almost like a diversion. But if somebody gets arrested on a simple drug or paraphernalia charge, if they could come, you guys can develop a program, and then it'll reflect in their sentencing. And Kathy's like, yeah, we can do that. And Kathy puts me in charge of it. And so I just start doing it. And they're giving me people straight out of jail. I'm picking them up from jail, and we're just like struggling through it, how we're doing it. And then we get this building donated. And I don't know specifically that the judge and the sheriff and the jailer and everybody that's been in my criminal past was like, oh yeah, she should be the one for the job. It just happened that way. So then when they're dealing with me all the time, mind you, I'm on parole, and then I'm on probation going through this. They're just like, wow, she's doing a pretty good job. Something's working with this Sunrise program. And so, you know, people are being successful. Then pretty soon I start having people come from the community. And so people are graduating. We make them mentors. The Sunrise program is a couple years old now. And I just have this, I call my OG Sunrises. I have this core group of like 5 people that have been with me almost since the very beginning. A couple are graduates, a couple have come in that just have stayed. but we talk about it all the time. Nobody really knows what the Sunrise program, how it works. I know it's support and connection, but people from other places have asked me to come speak and like, we want to model this. I don't know how to tell you how to model this because it's just really authentic and real. And this is my thing with them. And they know this is true. I will support you as much as you have ever been supported, but I'm also going to challenge you as much as you've ever been challenged. But also, I need you. Like, I need you like you need me. Like, I don't stand above them. I sit with them. Like, it makes me want to cry. Like, I love these people so much. I love this program so much. And could I give a blueprint on it? Absolutely not. It cannot be duplicated. Just because it's so rare and so, I mean, if people see us on social media, like you can feel it through watching us. Like there's a real, I think about that sometimes too. Eric moved out of the house. Shout out Eric. I love Eric. His name's Eric Lopez. He's been with me since the start. Picked him up at county jail. Well, actually he reached out and he said, I need someone to come talk to me. With Recovery Angels, we take people to rehab and stuff. So I went down to the jail and I talked to him, totally broken. And then when he was friends with my nephew that passed away, and when he found out who I was, totally broken, crying. And I was like, this man wants to change his life, you know? And I said, get out. I set him up at the House of Hope. I said, come to Sunrise. He came to Sunrise that next night. He's never left. He became the house manager. He's never missed a meeting. And I'm telling you, from meeting him in jail, I knew he was going to change, but he had just got busted. He looked horrible. And, you know, he's finally graduated the house and moved out. I'm going to have him on my podcast soon. But it's just people like that he really supports me in anything I need. You know, and I just don't mean him, but it's just this village of people. And I would love to be able, because I have Zoom meetings and stuff, like people like, we want to do a Sunrise program, like literally other counties. And I love to give them my ideas and here's what works for me, but there's just like not a blueprint of it. Like I couldn't sell a curriculum because we don't really have one. It's more about soul. It's more about, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys want to do next week? Does somebody else want to lead the class? Do you guys want to have a sound bath? Do you guys want to, is somebody, you know, we just had a girl, unfortunately, that's one of our like core girls, lose her son, and we've just been able to wrap around her, you know, and she came the other night and she needs us, we need her. Almost sounds like cultish. It's really not. but in addition to this, those people we get, I've had people that have been really successful, they've graduated, then it's reflected in their sentence, and I never see them again, and I've had some come back, but there's things we can do for them also, as you know, let me help you get a cell phone, let me help you get a job, let me help you get some work boots, let me, you know, since I've been incarcerated, but a vast majority of the people in Sunrise program have not been in prison, not all of them. They're coming from county jail, like we're trying to get them, meet them where they are, like get them before, I always tell you, we always talk about this, recovery is awesome, but prevention is key. Like too bad I couldn't get these people when they were 10, you know, but I don't know, the Sunrise program is just, and people do all the time walk up to me and there's like, man, it's amazing what you guys are doing down there. I do think though, it speaks to Graham County Substance Abuse Coalition on how awesome we are. I mean, we're not big. There's not a lot of us. Got 2 prevention ladies. My boss, Kathy Grimes, she's amazing. There's me, but we get a ton of community support, which is rare too, because it's a small town. And it used to be like, everybody that's on drugs, lock them up and throw away the key. It's not like that in my city anymore. There are still some people like that, but we got a lot of community support. So there's only like 30,000 people where I live, but you know, and I have the Light, which was something I wanted to do, and it's my newsletter.
So tell us about the Light. Okay,
so the Light, you know a little bit about the Light. So I wanted to start this newsletter when I was in prison, and I told the girls it was going to be a newsletter just about like what's happening out here. I was going to send them pictures of like me and the girls that got out and all that stuff. But I told them I'll write about a girl that got out every time. And so I sent it into 40 girls and a couple guys at Phoenix West. And I start getting letters from somebody named George Nolan, and he doesn't know who it is, you know. And Josh Johnson, he's still in there. Another guy, Eric Brown, he already got out. And they're like, this is awesome. And so then starts growing there. And then more girls from Perryville are wanting it. And I really don't know how it happened, because it just, you know, because you're a part of it, literally just turned into this thing, this movement. And it's even more so now. But I don't know if I've told you this story, but when I got out of prison, this man named Brock Bevel, he just reached out to me one day on Facebook, and he's like, no, on Instagram. And he said, I love how you recover out loud, because I was following the fentanyl project. And we just started talking. We're members of the same church, which is whatever. But there was a connection there. We just started talking, and he said, hey, I'm having this event called Night to Prevail. Would you like to come? And I told Terry, I'd been out of prison for 3 months. I told Terry, hey, take me to that. And Terry's just like, okay, whatever. And I have these 3 little newsletters. Actually, I have 2 little newsletters, and they're very generic. I mean, they're cool. You know what I mean? But I see this Formerly Intoxicated shirt, and I walk over and I said, can I have one of those shirts? And can I buy one of those shirts? And Blake goes, no, but I can give you one. What size? Medium? Oh, I don't have one here. So he goes out to get it, and Hannah, she's formerly intoxicated too. She starts asking me what I do. I'm like, oh, I just got out of prison. I do these newsletters, and Blake comes back in, and it just starts this whole like beautiful friendship, like, and they're like, let's set up a call. And I have known nothing about these people, so we had a call, and I'm like, that's cool. Can we support you? Yeah, you really could, because these newsletters I just got out. So from the 3rd issue of The Light, Blake's written the 3rd page, Hannah's written the 4th. And in the beginning, I'm like, it's my baby, so I'm like, let's just do this for like a month or maybe 2 months. And then the relation just started to, like, I started going to Formerly Intoxicated things. I became a Phoenix volunteer. And now The Light obviously has to go to the tablet because of the mail thing. But The Light is just growing with us. I mean, we always want to keep it very authentic. We are very intentional, right, about what we put in it. And, The Light is a movement. And what's really been cool about The Light and Convicted Comeback is I'm Sober Flower Girl on TikTok. I'm doing all my stuff. And I'm doing The Light, and I see Kristen on TikTok one day, and I call her, and I said, let me send you this newsletter. And she's like, that is crazy that you can do all that. And then she tells me like what about she's doing, and she wants to do Convicted Comeback. So I've been able to go. She starts running her class on Wednesday nights. But from the jump, she's like, I want you to come into the prison with me. And so we do go into Freedom Tour. And the first time we're there, Megan thinks we're crazy, but we're on like working out with the girls on Lumley. And I can't tell you how many times that day I looked at Kristen and we would just both be crying, because it's like, and it was me, her, Brittany, and Megan. And I'm like, how is it that these 4 felons are rolling around behind the same, freely among the same gates that used to keep them,
It's constantly surreal.
It is. And so then, we've been talking for a long time about wanting to do a show, a podcast or whatever. And we talk about it, and we talk about these things we want to do. And a couple of weeks ago, I was just like, hey, we're doing it. We're all in. And she's like, all right, schedule it. And she said she was in the shower, and she's like, how about we call it Light the Comeback or something? No, she said something, and I made it into something totally weird. And that's what I was advertising it as. And she's like, no, how about Light Up the Comeback? And so that's where this comes. So that's our show. So that's our new, we don't know. That's another thing. Can't make a blueprint because we haven't created it yet, but it's people are interested.
I love it. Light Up the Comeback. Shout out. So cool. Yes. I love you're bridging both of your guys' stories and both of these individual movements that represent the same values of transformation and redemption and accountability and expression and recovery, and you're just coming together to create something super authentic. Yes. And I love how it just emerged.
It did.
Like really quick.
Yeah, it did.
I feel like because I'm adjacently connected to you through Kristen, and Kristen and I, we talk, know, it almost is like Light Up the Comeback just sprouted.
It did.
Like out of nowhere.
The shower.
Because
will you talk about it for like, what's your take on Light Up the Comeback? Because I feel like you have something. You have your own.
We're like the same person most of the time. It works great.
And like this is a weird space.
Yeah, let's go back.
But I'm not saying there's not a lot of people I line with. I don't mean that, but like with you, with her, there's like these certain people God puts in your life that you literally just align with, and that we are like the same person, but we complement each other, our programs, and it did just start one day. And weirdly enough, is you said to me, you had it on the schedule, like, so you're going to do Sober Flower Girl, I'm Just a Girl. And I'm like, well, actually, it's this thing me and Kristen are going to do. And that's when it was born. It's weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is. It's crazy. It's oddly very comfortable. Mm-hmm. I think that the more that us and the rest of our crew has kind of just relaxed with it and let it flow, it has really developed because it's kind of like we've let the community and the girls lead the direction. And to go back to your blueprint, the only thing that kept coming to mind is there is no blueprint because it's in the deliverer. Right. Because not everybody can duplicate this. Not that there's not others, But it takes, listen, a lot of people told me how to be, what to change, how to fix it, but they never walked it. And so to me, it was invalid. And we've walked it. We've walked the things that we're teaching and we talk about, and they've seen that we've walked it and that we've come out on the other side. So I feel like that gives us some credibility. And
we met in prison and we were good friends or whatever we were in prison. Like I had this total nickname, but I'm also very athletic. We played volleyball all the time. And I remember right before Kristen left, her birthday's on Christmas Day, and it was raining, and the guards did just allow us. We were like playing volleyball mud. Everybody was all muddy and stuff like that. But we met in prison. So we this isn't just like we met when we got out and whatever. Right. I told her, Light Up the Comeback, I want to put somewhere on here EST 2018 because that's when we met.
So
yeah, I guess nobody knew that, but we like I said, we were like siblings growing up inside that place together. We know how prison works. We know the trauma before. Same but different stories, you know, just like all the other women that we interact with. And so Light Up the Comeback it just evolved because what she's doing is great, what we're doing is great, and together it's great, you know? And so it's a recipe.
People would come up to us today and be like, I follow you on LinkedIn.
That was crazy.
I follow you on LinkedIn, and I follow you guys on LinkedIn. Like, you know what I mean? They got the light, they got Convicted Comeback, but they definitely know Kristen and Kristen are a thing. It's really crazy. And the people that didn't know, I'm like, this is Kristen, or they do know her, you know what I mean? People like know us by face for social media, but people are just gonna know about Light Up the Comeback. We had a really good. Well, you were on there. It would have even been better if I would have known how to stream it on Facebook. I had it set to where only I could watch it. It was perfect. I mean, things happen.
You know, we're beginning.
we're learning.
Yes.
Yeah. So on that note of Light Up the Comeback, where can we expect to tune in, and when is it a thing that we're doing monthly, or you know, what can we who want to tune in do to tap in?
Okay, so we did our first one on a Monday night, but we're going to do the next one on Sunday night. What time?
What did we decide?
6 o'clock, because we're just trying to find the right time where people are available, they're not eating dinner, you know, feeling it out. So I'm going to start putting it out tomorrow, so to be available live on LinkedIn and YouTube and hopefully Facebook this time.
Awesome.
Chris and I have talked about like doing a podcast forever, and I do have mine, and she'll be on it, and I'll be. But I just thought, like, I was on this show called Just Jax, and it was live, and it was just really authentic and a conversation and really cool. And I've always told her, like, we have to be live because we don't even need scripting, because like it's just. We're funny and it's more authentic. I mean, our spouses sometimes are like, stop it. They can tell when we're talking to each other because we're just dying. But yeah, we're gonna do one this Sunday at 6. Be on LinkedIn. I'll put it out there on our socials, and we just don't really know where Light Up the Comeback is going. But then she sent me this. I mean, it happened like this. She sent me this page of logos, and I'm like, that's it. And she's like, okay, just got some shirts made.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
Time, you know?
No.
Yeah, no, we don't waste time. Not anymore.
Nope.
So good. So, boom. What a journey.
Mm-hmm.
What a journey. We are blessed to be a part of a movement like this. Convicted Comeback, The Light, Formerly Intoxicated.
Yes.
These things are so much bigger than just us. So I would like to invite anybody who is not aware of Convicted Comeback, or doesn't know what The Light is, or doesn't know what Formerly Intoxicated is, and is just starting to stumble on this. Find parts of yourself in these places. Just know that this is so much bigger than Kristen or myself. This is really about you. This is about you discovering who are you and why are you here? How can you serve? What are your gifts? What can you give? And on that note, wow, God is so good.
Yes.
Thank you. On that note of what can you give, whether it's time or it's if someone wants to volunteer or someone wants to be, get involved, where can they donate, right? Formerly Intoxicated is a 501c3, a nonprofit. Convicted Comeback is as well. Okay, cool.
So is the coalition.
So is Graham County Substance Use Coalition. Okay, shout out Kathy Graham.
Grimes.
Okay. I was like, man, Kathy on the gram.
Yes!
Okay. Anyway, Kathy Grimes, Graham County Substance Use Coalition. So let's start with Convicted Comeback. If someone is wanting to donate, wanting to get involved, how can they sew into the work that you guys are doing in the prison reentry space?
So if you go to our website, convictedcomeback.com, there is a donation link at the top. We will accept all donations. They go directly into our programs, and we've got currently a graduation celebration coming up for our 12-week boot camp, and that will be celebrated with a shared taco dinner. So that would be the next big thing we've got coming up. And then we also have an ongoing Amazon list to help accumulate equipment so we can run our classes.
Amazing. So there's a donate now on the website, the Amazon wish list. This is convictedcomeback.com, spelled just like it sounds. If you guys want to sew into this, there's a lot of awesome content on the website, on the social media platforms. And like we've said throughout the course of this episode, the work goes so much deeper than what's even been captured. This work is happening on a soul level. Yeah. This kind of a love is something that has to be felt. It has to be encountered. It has to be experienced. So beyond just donating to the wish list or the movement, which helps because these programs are totally funded off of donations.
Yes.
Beyond that, come get involved.
Yes.
Like, please come out to one of the events,
Yes.
one of the community events. Follow the pages, share the pages. Those types of things go so much further than I think we realize. And I just want to encourage every single one of you guys who are new to the work that Kristin and Kristen are doing, or if maybe you're totally familiar with this movement, but you haven't yet taken that step to donate and sew into it, maybe bless a sister. Maybe bless a sister. Maybe buy a t-shirt. Oh, so good. Well, man, we are a little over the hour mark. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
I was thinking about doing a little lyrical analysis thing, but I don't know.
Do what you feel.
Should we do it? You know, we've been keeping them at an hour,
Okay.
but I feel like if somebody's hung this long, like they're probably in it for like the long haul. You know, like we could probably go another
Take it to the
few
max.
minutes.
Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. So this record is called Heaven Sent. All right. It's one of the tracks on my last album, Unbear Your Burdens. Like, lay them down. Like, come on. You weren't built to bear this.
Right.
Like, let it go. I found strength in letting go, in healing and letting go. And then somehow, some way, when I was no longer trying to rely on my own strength, I was empowered with the strength of something bigger, which was love and community and, thank God, the Spirit. The lyrics are on page, I think, 2 or 3 of this packet. It might be 4. So we have a little supplemental group materials. When we're going into the treatment centers or we've done some stuff in MRC, I like to have these little packets just because it's something tangible that you can take home with you. You never know, like this packet or this worksheet might be sitting on someone's desk in a moment where they're in the grip of a crisis and they feel like they want to relapse, and all of a sudden they see this thing that reminds them of the encounter or the experience that they had. So part of funding reentry programs and recovery programs, I think for us, that as we're looking at our budget and donations and stuff like that, is having a line item for not just marketing materials, but program materials. It's so important. We don't realize that every single page is like, we have to fund this stuff. So I'm really like just shedding some light on like nonprofits. So I know you've had a journey of coming into discovering how to print and like how to do the amount of the volume of printing you were doing. So anyway, I'm a rabbit hole kind of guy. This song is called Heaven Sent. And here, let me pull up. Let me pull up the lyrics. Let's see if I can find them. I ain't playing. I'm gonna keep this all relevant. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Thank you for your patience. Is that it? That's it. Okay. Let's pull the track up. Blake Matthews music.com/the album. Oh, that's awkward. 404 not found.
I mean,
Somebody help me.
well, that's awkward.
So, quick story on this. The intro. Can I just play you the intro, please? So the story behind this intro, the intro of my first album, I was living in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. I spent like 6 years out there or so when I was going to school and studying songwriting, audio engineering, and business. So shout out education. I respect your journey. I was still using at the time, and I was living in Hermitage, and there was a woman named Uma. She was kind of like a godmother, grandmother figure to me. I had only known her because she was my neighbor, but she started to come over to our house uninvited, just with like food or like a message or a smile. And even though I was still getting high at the time, I sensed that there was something really important about what she was trying to tell me. And she was like a very peaceful, reverent, like belief in the power of God to change someone's life. And she just loved me. She never condemned me. She spoke life over me. And this was one of the things that she said to me that I felt compelled to like voice memo, or like the producer artist in me was like, oh, this is sick. Like I totally need to capture this. So this is
You're going to be healing people. You're going to be planting dreams in these people.
Is it only playing in my headphones?
I've heard this before.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay, here.
You're going to be healing people. You're going to be planting dreams in these people. Their dreams have died. A man without dreams will perish. Kapoof. No more. You're planting the dreams. You don't even realize your songs may be saying one thing, but what grows in that person's heart may be a totally different thing. But your main thing is you're going to plant those seeds, and it's going to give those people one more chance to try to get it right. Get their youth back. Get their dream. Get their hopes. Get their ass up and doing something other than popping drugs. And yes, it does take more than it does one or two people. It takes a whole team.
Years before I ever stepped into a treatment center, before I ever felt like I was called to like any sort of healing. I hadn't been to therapy. I hadn't been to rehab. I hadn't done any of my own trauma work. And she's just speaking life over me, you know? So never underestimate the power of your voice, the power of your ability to speak life into someone. It could come back and change them. It wasn't but 7 or 8 years later that this ended up on the album. And I looked back like, wow, we've been programming inside of Chicanos por la Causa, inside of Sanctuary, inside of MRC. Like, I'm like looking back at this, realizing like she prophesied over my life, like that this would come to pass if I would just wake up and listen. Like, what am I being called to do? So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
This song is called Heaven Sent. It's the 11th track on the album, and I'm really looking forward to to hearing what you have to say about it. When we do the lyrical analysis workshops inside of the treatment centers and whatnot, usually I just encourage my guys to, if there's a word that speaks to you or something, circle it. If there's a line, underline it, whatever, like engage with it and find yourself in it. And I can't wait to see what it is that speaks to both of you. Heaven sent.
I'ma keep this all relevant. My family the type to celebrate you for the hell of it. I'm called the elephant, I'd rather tell it how it is. I keep the etiquette platinum, I drop albums, that's a fact. Yeah, I'ma see who stick around. I've been struggling to pay the rent, but no doubt I know that we better than the lies that the devil tryna put up in my head again. I'ma pray they heaven sent. I could feel the weight in my soul, day and night, cold like December, then gone, quicker than you thought though. I know I'm made for more than this, yeah. A soul like this can't grow, move on. Yeah, I'ma pray they heaven sent. I had enough of it, I had to make a record that could free you from depression. If you get up and jump with it, I do it for my brothers and my wife and Blake and Violet. No more acting childish, I'm inspired. I ain't folding under pressure, in the cut like a diamond. Independent, write it, record it, I feel alive. Getting lit on God, lean on love. Even when I ain't on 10, I still show up. Okay. Whoa. Yeah, I'ma see who stick around. I've been struggling to pay the rent, but no doubt I know that we better than the lies that the devil tryna put up in my head again. I'ma pray they heaven sent. I could feel the weight in my soul, day and night, cold like December, then gone, quicker than you thought though. I know I'm made for more than this, yeah. A soul like this can't grow, move on. Yeah, I'ma pray they heaven sent. 36,525 days. Don't let it go to waste. If I wanna cop 100, I should probably learn to love my mind and body like the temper that it is. No popping pills, driving drunk, living life down on luck, dropping bills on anything to bump me up. Bump me up. If I ain't careful, I typically get too comfortable, but I ain't got the time to sit around and risk a W. I went from drug abusing to recovered. If you want it, you can have it too. Your life made new, it's a fact. Yeah, I'ma see who stick around. I've been struggling to pay the rent, but no doubt I know that we better than the lies that the devil tryna put up in my head again. I'ma pray they heaven sent. I could feel the weight in my soul, day and night, cold like December, then gone, quicker than you thought though. I know I'm made for more than this, yeah. A soul like this can't grow, move on. Yeah, I'ma pray they heaven sent.
You know, as I was going through it was putting me to it.
Okay. Thank you for listening. What stood out? Like, what spoke to you?
So just like right from the beginning.
Can we pass? Thank you. Yeah, anything that spoke to
just
you.
right from the beginning, the part of this being relevant. So this isn't even specifically about the song, but just like what's relevant. The song's relevant to what I'm going through right now. Really, like my soul, things are deep in my soul. Like it just really spoke out to me, honestly. And I feel like when it's talking about the elephant, like you're gonna address the elephant in the room, right? Like was that like, yeah. So I'm gonna address it what the elephant is, but no, just about it being. I love the first part of it, and then even this last part about popping pills, driving drunk. You know, this all like this is my roadmap of my life right here. You know what I mean? The relevant part, though, not even to the song, but just everything in the song is, I was like, this is totally relevant to what I'm going through. The soul part and cold, like December, and like, so yeah, I got a lot going on.
Well, we're here for you.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I love you.
I love you too. I love the song too.
Oh,
I'm stuck on your music right now. Not that I'm not stuck on it, but I get sucked back into like some of your older stuff, and it's just like the palm trees and song or whatever, and you've just evolved it, and I love that music, but I love it. I do. I got that. I play that where we both met, the street was fun with palm trees, whatever, but your music has just evolved beautifully into something different, but I love that still. Yeah, I love
Thank
it.
you.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
What about you, Chris?
What about me? Okay, well, first of all, I'm on the slow train because I was like, only half these words are here, and I was trying to keep up, and then I realized there was another page.
Oh.
So, okay, well, my notes are on the backside, and that's what I feel is important here because too comfortable. I coach that all the time. That's where we all lack. That's where I put that post that we should all go to prison because we all know comfortability and we like comfortability, and what we think is we need to make ourselves more comfortable. But the problem with that is then you lose yourself in sloppy laziness, and I don't mean physically, I mean mentally and emotionally. And so comfortable is a negative in my book, and I like to make people very uncomfortable and then see what they do with that. So great line, I love that. And then also big thing that we coach and we reiterate all the time is if you want it, you can have it too. In fact, I just had that shirt made because I coach that, and I say, if you want it, you can have it. You just got to do the work. That's it. It's yours.
So good.
Do it.
So good.
So good. Thank you for saying this.
Oh, thank you. Yes, of course. The on both of those, the elephant. I ain't playing. I'm gonna keep this all relevant. My family the type to celebrate you for the hell of it. I'll call the elephant. I'd rather tell it how it is because I spent so much of my life not calling the elephant, burying the truth of how I felt or what I believed I was called to say, but somehow just didn't have the courage or the language, or that just wasn't the type of conversation that was typically modeled for me growing up. So I spent time suffering in silence. So at this stage in my journey, I err on the side of, hey, let's talk about this. Let's bring it out into the light. Because one thing I know about darkness is it tries to stay concealed. It wants to stay concealed because if it's concealed, it can maintain its grip on me. And I don't stand for that anymore. I don't roll like that anymore, you know? I was transformed, and not by my power, not by my strength, but now I have a responsibility to maintain that newness of life just by choosing to participate. If I ain't careful, I typically get too comfortable, meaning that that's a trend that I've identified in my life, that if I just kind of sit around and let it happen, as opposed to choosing to get up, swing my legs up out of bed, wake up, 5 a.m, I get my faith up, right? Like I have to choose that. Otherwise I end up falling back into comfort. So I love the fact that you're coaching these types of things around mindset and accountability and discipline. It's so important. And whether it's in the realm of recovery or reentry or faith-based spaces, I see a lot of the power and possibility of redemption being spoken about without the structure and the discipline to follow it. Of like, hey, if you want this, receive it. It's for you. It's a gift. But to your point, you have to do the work. So I think we need more coaches and more mentors to come alongside people and say, hey, this is how I did it. I'm not going to tell you how to do it or what you should do, but I can model what I did. This is what worked for me. And I want to see more people grabbing hold of that. So that's what the lyrics are for me. It's kind of like my reminder of like what worked, you know, like these are the lessons that I've learned, And I so look forward to like making a Convicted comeback banger or something like that.
Yes, please.
That would be so sick. Do a theme song or something.
Yep.
But anyways, do you have any like final words or final thoughts that you just want to leave our listener with? Whoever made it this far, this is so, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And what would you leave us with?
Just thank you. I mean, truly, I've realized that for some reason we hold a platform, and I don't take that lightly, because I think that leadership is such a beautiful gift, and I have led people in the wrong direction for a long time, and so I want to be that good example. I will be that light, and I will show you the way, and it's up to you to take it. But I want people to know that at any point, introduce yourself to me, come up to me, follow me on social, say hi. I take the time to write back to people. I take the time to say what's up and to hear your story, and we love that. We revolve around community connection, families, and those that are inside and those that get out. So don't be a stranger.
So good. I love it. That's a great word.
So I would say, and I say this all the time, that there is possibility. Like what you speak is what you become. But if you're going to live your life in limitation, you're going to stay limited. But even the worst wounded soul, the most highly disfavored people by society, the worst alcoholic, the worst drug addict, we understand that. People tell me, people like discount other people's struggles or something because they appear now. We're all the same. Like I've been there. I've been the worst addict, the worst wounded soul, highly disfavored by society. Never thought I would feel good again. Never thought I would be sitting here. Never thought I would live, but it's possible. Like you say, redemption is real. Change is possible. You just have to love yourself. And you need to reach out to somebody. If you don't have a family, if you don't have friends, there's people like us. I'll meet you in the street. You know what I mean? So will a lot of people. Find a church, find a pastor, there's people out there. You have to reach out. You cannot do this alone. The thing is, you can't do it alone, but nobody's coming to save you because they don't need to, because guess what? You're powerful enough to save yourself with help.
So good. Words of power. I love it. Well, once again, thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Formerly Intoxicated Podcast, where we believe that redemption is real, prevention is possible, and recovery is for everyone.
Yes.
So please come participate in the movement. We love you guys so much, and we can't wait to see you soon.
Thanks for having us. That was awesome. We can just talk forever. I love this. I'm glad we have that picture.
I was sleeping through my days. I bet top dollar that you done the same, yeah. Was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Wake up. Okay. What's up? I think it's time we make a change, yeah. Wake up, 5 in the morning, I get my faith up. I'm swinging my legs up at the bed for something greater. I walk by the spirit, keep it simple like a layup. I'm praying for my brothers on the streets that getting faded. We running numbers up, it's to come up, best believe before the sun is up. I'm on my knees thanking God for filling my cup. I'm overflowing abundantly, keep that scripture in front of me. Let the picture develop so you can see what it's gonna be. Got that vision inside of you, but the vision ain't nothing if it ain't living and giving. Give them your first fruits and check on your alignment. In that secret place, I call upon the Lord for guidance. High off of praise, but I was sleeping through my days. I knew something had to change, but I didn't know the way, yeah. But I didn't know the way, yeah. I was sleeping through my days. I bet top dollar that you done the same, yeah. Was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Wake up. Okay. What's up? I think it's time we make a change, yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. I think it's time we make a change, yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. I think it's time we make command. I'll be standing at command. I'll be standing at command with my hand in the air like. I think it's time we make a change. Yeah.
Yeah, Changemaker. Here, we're just gonna come for a little group photo. This is like the behind the scenes, like final moment. Oh wait, hold on. We love you guys.
Love you.
Peace.
Oh, that was